G'day folks, it's the Maple Monkey here again and with another Marvel United gameplay video for you, and this is going to be a special New Year's edition. So it's New Year's Eve here in Oz, 2023. So yeah, I thought just to celebrate the year, I've had a really fun year with the channel and with all the Marvel United stuff and the Homebrew stuff and all that sort of stuff that's been going on here with the Maple Monkey. I thought that for this battle that we'd have a bit of a New Year's theme for it. So yeah, we'll get down to the table pretty soon. I'll just take you through what we're looking at here, because you'll have to follow me on this journey as we try and you know, thread a line of theme through it. So as New Year, I thought the theme could be, well, we're trying to drop the ball, right? You know, the big giant ball. So we've got the Blob, and what I thought for this playthrough as well is I'd like to use it to showcase and highlight all the folks and stuff in the Homebrew and the Marvel United community that I'm really thankful for this year and that sort of thing. I hope to do a little live video after this as well, if I can stay up. And you know, and talk about that sort of stuff. But I thought for this battle we could highlight some stuff. So amongst all the homebrewers, Canje Studios has done some really great villain design. So I thought what we'd do is we'd highlight one of his villain designs. So this is the Blob, and he's going to be a single villain rather than his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants cameo there in that multi-villain fight. So Canje's done up a Blob. Here you can see he doesn't have any special setup rules, so he's nice and simple. He comes in with quite low health there for the different player count. We're playing 4 players, so he'll have 6 health with us today, but that's because he doesn't need the health because he's quite difficult to take down. So let's have a look at his rules. He has this rule here that says heroes using movement to leave his location must use 2 movement instead. Heroes using punch to damage Blob must use 2 punch instead. And a hero with a crisis token must ignore the action symbols on the previous hero card. So they basically only get their own card. Then they discard 1 crisis token, because you can build up multiple crisis tokens, I guess. Now, his BAM is that he deals 1 damage to each hero in Blob's location. So pretty simple. He basically just deals a damage, and it's to each hero. So he's pretty big, so he hits everyone. And then his villainous plot is also his overflow, and this is really important. If a civilian or thug cannot be added to a location, we lose. So this could be a really quick battle, so I guess we're trying to get it in before New Year's, so maybe this will help. But yeah, as soon as we drop the ball on overflow, we've lost the game. So overflow is really important. You might be saying, well, hold on there, Maple Monkey, what's going on here? What's all this about crisis tokens? Well, the crisis tokens come up when we have a look at the threats. So amongst his threats, he's got his 2 compadres. He's got Toad and Pyro, who also he features with when you use the regular Brotherhood version, the official version. So Toad has 4 health, and his BAM is that he swaps this card with the next clockwise threat card. So he basically sort of like moves around the threats. Then 1 hero in Toad's location takes a crisis token. So basically, if he gets around and lands on you, he's going to slime you up and stick you to the floor, and you're going to lose your ability to use the previous hero's cards, so, or, you know, symbols on the bottom of their cards. So pretty nasty, sort of gums up the works there. So that's Toad. So we may as well have another look now at Pyro. So Pyro, he deals a damage to each hero in this and each adjacent location. So that's each hero in this, and so he's hurting heaps of people. So he's basically hurting everyone here, here, and here. So yikes, and he's got 5 health as well. So area denial there. He's pretty scary. So we'll put the health back down on those guys. There we go. Whoopsie. And because we've explained those now, we can do that for the villain as well. And what are we doing here? This way. There we go. Let's have a look at his other threats as well. He's got immovable object. That's another one. So, whoops. Try and go in there. While Blob is in this location, he ignores 1 damage each hero turn. Okay. That requires 3 heroics to get rid of. And there's 2 copies of that. So there's actually one here as well. So same one. That's in our starting location and in the villain starting location. And the other 2 locations we have belly slams. So these are landing spots. So if he lands here before we do anything else, before his bam, we trigger this, which is deal 1 damage to each hero in this location. So he flattens us. And again, we need to get rid of those with heroics. He's got 2 of those. Hopefully you can read that. All right. Now, we're playing with pretty regular, well, I shouldn't say pretty regular missions, so they're as standard. And then, so before we go on to the heroes, I thought what we'll do as well, part of showing off, trying to show off as many people's work as possible. So a lot of you will, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know that we sort of blinged out the set a little bit with some really cool stuff by Minis from Mars. Really great guy, lives here in Oz. He designs these guys and sells them. They're really cool. So these are little civilians. We've got the civilians, we've got the thugs. This little thug, he puts these little Easter eggs into. So this is like a little, what is he, like a little Red Skull guy or something? And he's got the little, he's got like the skull face from the actual threat tokens. Maybe he's like a little mini crossbones. And yeah, the threat tokens are also by Minis from Mars here, so big shout out to them. Fantastic work as always. If you've seen that Senator Kelly model, you'll know that's really great stuff. He does also like the little Doom bots we featured in the Christmas special the other day, and he does the multiple man little minifigs, and he, I think, is, fingers crossed, with all the new multiverse sort of stuff coming out down the track. I'm pretty sure he's going to put out a bunch of stuff for some of the tokens and things that will be used in those sets as well. So great one to check out. Now you'll also notice the locations here. I thought Times Square, because I'm pretty sure, like, apologies to all the folks in the States if I'm getting this wrong, but I'm pretty sure where they do that big drop the big ball at New Year's, that's in Times Square. I hope that's right. So we've got Times Square as where Blob, not Bob, because that's a different villain. Blob is going to start there. But all the other locations I thought we'd showcase the work of the team that put together the TMNT homebrew stuff. So I believe Lukey19 was behind that. We've also had DividedSky working on designs there. They've also brought on an artist by the name of Nicomooz, who also helped us out a little bit with our homebrew stuff as well, with some art. I thought I don't have room on the roster here for the Ninja Turtles, but I thought we'd show off their locations. So I'm not sure who on the team actually designed these locations, but we've got the sewer lair, the TCRI building, the Antonio's Pizzarama, April's apartment, and Chinatown. So that's what we're using today for the locations. And I'm a bit worried actually about these locations because some of them are quite small. Like April's apartment's only got 2 spaces. So in a scenario where we lose if a civilian or thug can't be added at all, I think that could be our downfall. But we'll see how we go. But I wanted to show these guys off anyway. So that's the main thing. So they're pretty cool. Well, let's have a look now at the heroes. So we'll start off with the first one here. So this hero is going to be representative of a great homebrew designer and someone who has been invaluable to the community, the homebrew community especially, for putting out a really great template series, so you could build your own heroes and villains and all that sort of stuff as well, and really helpful with it and offering lots of advice and helping you out, and that's Helios23. So he has also been working hard. His particular project, I guess, that he spent the most time on, he's done a bunch of cool battles. I'm trying to think, what's the Morgan Le Fay, Marvel villain there. He's also helped out a fellow by the name of Simon Templar, I believe. He's helped him out with his Sentinel battle design and that sort of thing as well. But the big thing he's been working on is a bunch of One Piece stuff, and he's hard at work putting together Impel Down. I've mentioned that a couple of times now. Really cool big fight, so we're looking forward to that. But I thought I'd showcase his work with probably one of my favourite characters from One Piece. There's so many favourite characters, but this guy kind of stands head and shoulders literally above the rest, and that is Whitebeard, legendary former Emperor of the Sea, big pirate captain, really cool. So yeah, Whitebeard's going to be quite cool, so we're going to use him, and we've got his minifig here. One of the things that Helios does too, he actually sources the little sort of gacha minis over in Japan, because he's over that way, and so you can order these from him, sort of second-hand sort of thing. So yeah, very cool. So that's going to be Whitebeard with his cool big crescent moustache there. So he's very cool. Where we've also got another great prolific homebrew designer who does a lot of really great stuff, and to be honest, I feel really bad because I just he puts out so many different designs that I've only really sort of like touched the surface sort of thing with a lot of his stuff. So he does My Hero Academia, which we're going to be featuring today. He does Naruto and Castlevania and the Sentinels of the Multiverse. I'm probably forgetting a couple others there as well, but puts out a lot of great stuff. But I really like his hero designs. They often play really uniquely and have some interesting mechanics and that sort of thing. And today we're going to be featuring my favourite hero from My Hero Academia, the actual series, and that's Kirishima, or Red Riot. So he's quite cool. He's kind of like a tough guy, sort of bit of a tank sort of thing. So we're going to use him. And we have our little, I'm not sure, I think these guys are, not sure what this series of little minifigs are, but I think it's like a pretty closed pool sort of set. So I've got a whole bunch of these guys, but I don't know if you can get any more of them. So so I don't think I mentioned. Did I mention that xnellynelx designs these? I don't think I actually mentioned him by name, but yeah, xnellynelx is the designer of all this great stuff. So wanted to showcase his designs, and yeah, Kirishima is going to be the guy for that. But yeah, as he keeps making these designs, I think I'm going to run out of figs, so I might have to use Funko Pops for them or something. But yeah, they're very cool. So we'll pop that down here. Who's next on the list? Now we have Dave, or DiversionArchitect, who hopefully a lot of you guys will know is also the creator of another great source of design templates and that sort of thing. If you are more familiar with the InDesign system, it's a really great system sort of alongside Helios 23's Photoshop system, where you can design your own cards and that sort of thing for Marvel United as well. So the homebrew stuff at least. So that's really cool. So he's done that. Not only that, he's also designed this big system called the Rogues Gallery, where you can sort of like make your own custom, I guess, Sinister Six style roster of heroes and play with them. And he also is the brainchild behind getting a lot of people's work who do the homebrew stuff out there via the Marvel United Wiki. So there's a fandom wiki out there, the Marvel United Wiki, and he's reached out to those folks and got permission to sort of start building out the homebrew section there. And so that's now a great place that he's gone out and sort of collated, grabbed a whole bunch of, or curated, I guess the word is, people's designs and stuff, and sort them out and asked for permission to put that stuff into that site there as well. And then also, if you're interested and you're a designer and that sort of stuff, you can go in and edit your own pages and put your own stuff in and that sort of thing as well. So lots of great stuff going on there. Really would appreciate more people getting, visiting that site and leaving feedback too in the comments of the pages, just so the designers can sort of get some feedback, and if they need to make changes, or if they just want to hear how people think their designs go, that'd be really helpful as well. But it's a really great place to sort of go and look for the homebrew stuff as well. So And a special shout out to Angel, the guy who's been sort of reviewing a lot of people's work there. That's really helpful as well. So anyway, long story short, we're going to use Mondo. So Mondo is part of Dave's. The other big thing Dave's done is he's doing a whole bunch of characters from the Age of Apocalypse series of comics. So he's got a bunch of villains out, and he's doing some heroes as well. And this is one of his first heroes. So this is Mondo, and I think he was like kind of like one of the New Mutants or something like that. You know, the young mutants, and so his deal is he kind of like can blend in with the Earth, I guess, and travel through the Earth and take on the characteristics of different environmental things and that sort of thing as well. So he's pretty cool, and we're going to use his model to show off another. I think this might be like We Play Games or something. I apologize, I forget who the actual designer of this mini is, but this is like, I think, Man Thing. Is it Swamp Thing or Man Thing? I think it's Man Thing. And we are actually getting an official mini for this guy, I think, with the new, or are we? Is that right? I think we are. I think we're getting an official mini as part of the, it's hard to remember now, but the multiverse set, maybe one of the promos or something. But as you can see, this is a pretty cool model in the meantime. So we're going to use him to represent, just because he's kind of got all like the bits of Earth and stuff coming out of him and stuff. So we're going to use him as Mondo today. Bit of a proxy figure. And our final hero is another designer, and this guy actually, I believe, is a duo with xnellynelx, and this is Norrlyth. And Norrlyth, actually, big shout out to him because he designed a bunch of characters, including Ryu from Streetfighter, and some other characters like as part of his Marvel vs. Capcom range, and that really inspired me. So I basically sort of have joined in with that venture and been designing all those. Probably the biggest thing I've been working on recently, actually, is a lot of the Street Fighter stuff. So I've been really enjoying that. So I'm trying to sort of emulate his style with the art and like with the card backgrounds and that sort of thing as well. So yeah, we're going to use Ryu today to represent Norrlyth stuff. And another person I'd like to give a shout out to is the bloke behind Big Head Chibis as well. There's a Patreon account, and he puts out a lot of really great minis that sort of emulate the chibi sort of style. And he's been really responsive to his community, and people, you know, he lets people sort of vote and suggest ideas for, you know, what he's going to design next sort of thing. And he's really helped us out with listening to suggestions. So you know, he's put a bunch of the Street Fighter stuff out. And he's also put, we did that big Brute Force project earlier in the year, and he's been putting out the Brute Force figures for that, and yeah, a whole bunch of other really cool stuff there. So you got Mortal Kombat, you've got lots of DC and Marvel characters and that sort of thing. Andrew Fantasia, who unfortunately he hasn't put out enough content, I guess, yet. Sorry, Andrew, but he put out the really fantastic Hydro Man villain. And we've now got, it looks like in the next month's releases, we're now going to get a Hydro Man figure from Big Head Chibis as well, which is really cool. So yeah, that's excellent. So I think that's everything. I think we've explained it all. So I think we can get into the game. We've explained Blob. We've done a little bit of a shout out to folks. I guess we can get into it and get started. We'll just draw our starting hands here. So we've got a starting hand card for who is he? Whitebeard. Okay. And so we've got one, two, three here. So his starting hand card is, he wants a big one here, so strongest man in the world. So draw one card. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, ignore 1 damage each villain turn. Okay, so basically he gets to, so when you play this card you get to draw a card, then as long as the card is face up in the storyline, you can ignore a damage each turn. Then also anytime you would draw cards, except during the draw step, so at the beginning of each turn, you draw 1 extra card, including after being KO'd. So if you're getting KO'd, you get to draw an extra card. If you I suppose like use a healing spot that lets you draw cards and things like that, you can draw an extra one. Yeah, so that's that one. And what else have we got? We've got a double star, and we've got a Seaquake, 3 punches split as you like in your and adjacent locations. This is unpreventable. So there you go. And just a little bit of a caveat with Whitebeard, Helios23 has sort of stated that he designs his heroes and his villains to be a little bit sort of more extreme with their design, a little bit more sort of powerful just in general in their power levels. So his villains are really hard, but also his heroes are quite sort of like quite powerful as well. So they'd probably be on the upper end of the power scale, you know, when you're comparing Marvel United heroes. And that's cool because Marvel United, it's a game where, you know, the designers have said not everything is balanced, and you know, everything's meant to be sort of modular, and you just sort of mix and match and have fun, and some games will be harder and some games will be easier and that sort of stuff depending on some of the stuff you choose as well. So it's all good. We've got 2 starting hand cards for Kirishima, and we'll just shuffle his cards up. One. So he's got himself a wild there, and we are playing with double wilds. We won't be using any equipment today either. We've got red counter, so these are his 2 that he always starts with. So he basically can turn his skin sort of rock hard and be a bit of a punching bag. So red counter, as long as this... hold on, let's start with this one. Unbreakable. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, you may ignore 1 damage during each villain turn. So that's pretty cool. Then here, as long as this card is face up in the storyline, you may punch in your location whenever you ignore a damage. So you can see how those 2 sort of tie together. So that's Red Riot. We have... So Kirishima is his name, and then Red Riot is his... sort of like superhero name sort of thing. So, I'm not sure if his... I was trying to think. I think Kirishima is his last name. They sort of mix it up in the... Because, you know, with Japanese, they sort of... The first names and the last names are kind of reverse to what they are sort of in English. But I think in the show... In the TV show, like the English dub, I think they sort of say the names the English way. Yeah, anyway, it's a bit confusing. So I hope, apologies if I'm getting that wrong, but I think Kirishima is his last name. You guys can leave a message in the comment if you know if that's right or wrong. Let's now, Mr. Mondo here, he does not have the starting hand card, so he's nice and easy. So we'll just flip his cards over. He's got a star, he's got double wild, and 2 stars, all right. A lot of movement there. All right, he's going to be stuck in place. Oh, sorry, supposed to... not choose our cards, are we? We'll shuffle. Now these ones are a little bit thicker because I'm using the paper ones with a card in between sort of thing, because I haven't printed these out. Still waiting on Norrlyth to release a version of this where the cutout line isn't on there, so we can I can print them nice, like in the, you know, the nice professional style. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. So Ryu, let's have a look at Ryu. He's got a move and a star. He's got a punch and he's got a move. All right. Well, let's see how roughly the Blob treats us. Hopefully we can drop the ball at New Year's. All right, let's give it a shot. Okay, so hopefully he's not going to come and land on us. At least we're not standing on a belly slam spot. So we've put all the tokens out. I think we're looking good. All right, what's he got for us? Let's flip it up. Okay. Hopefully I'm holding that in a position where you can read it. And alright, so he's not moving. There's no landing spot thing there, so we don't trigger that. He does BAM. Now the BAM says deal a damage to each hero in his location. Alright, that is not going to happen. Okay. Then we go around from his spot and we look, so starting here, no BAMs. Then we have a look at Toad. He does have a BAM, so he swaps this card with the next clockwise threat. So Belly Slam goes over here, and now we have Toad here. Oof. And then Toad says, swap this card with the next... Oh yeah, we did that. Alright, then 1 hero in Toad's location takes a crisis token, so that's fine, but we know he's going to do that next turn if we're still standing there, but not much we can do about that, I guess. Then Jiggle Physics. Oh, sorry, we keep going around. Pyro, he deals damage in all of these locations. We're okay there for now. And then, as long as any Jiggle Physics cards are face up in the storyline, heroes take 1 damage whenever they deal any damage to Blob. Wow, so this is like a starting hand card type of thing. It isn't a starting hand, but it's like like one of those ones where the power is in play the whole time. That's kind of cool because the X-Men, Blob is equivalent of a mutant, so he's a mutant bad guy sort of thing. The X-Men with their mutant powers, they're sort of given a lot of the time starting hand ones to represent the fact that their power is always in play. So it's kind of cool that there's a always in play type thing for a mutant villain like this. So that's cool. So Jiggle Physics. So so we punch him, we get hit back by his pec flapping around or something. So all right, yeah, deal any damage to all right. Okay, so yeah, basically as we attack him, he's going to be hitting us back. Who have I designed recently where I've put that into? Oh yeah, I don't think I've shown him off yet, but I'm working on a Vega, and I'm sort of putting into play the fact that whenever a bloody video game, whenever you, I swear to God, it was the game would cheat. You'd go to punch him, and then all of a sudden his sprite would change, and he'd be hitting you first, and it's no, I hit the button before he launched his attack. But no, apparently he was just too fast for me, so Vega was very hard. So I've put that sort of into play where he basically sort of he always does some damage to you as you hit him sort of thing. Anyway, as a brief aside, I think so we've done that. So he's not putting anything down, he's not moving. These guys didn't do anything apart from Blob moving, so I think we're on to the next one. So on to the next turn. So we'll just put the heroes decks over here. Confuse ourselves. We have Mr. Whitebeard here. So what's happening here? Alright, so we've got to remember, so getting rid of some of these threats is great, and is usually the way to go, right, with Marvel United, but we've got to remember that if we leave anything open to putting him putting multiple cards or multiple things out, we're in trouble. So yeah, because we can't let any of these tokens overflow. So with that in mind, let's see. We've got to draw a card. We've got our 3 cards. We've just drawn a move and a punch. Alright. But I'm sort of tempted to play this one, get this one out. So we've got draw 1 card. Then as long as the card is face up, whenever we get to ignore a damage, which is handy. And then also we get to draw extra cards whenever we are drawing cards, so that's kind of cool, apart from the beginning of the turn. So I think we'll do that. It's not giving us a lot of things, but a lot of actions this turn, but I think that might be handy to have out just to sort of help us, I think. Is that worth having out? I mean, this double star would be great just to either start getting rid of this or to get rid of a couple of these guys, but I think we might start with that. Alright. So we'll do this, we'll play the punch. We'll defeat this thug here. Then Mr. Red Riot is going to... Wow, he's got double move. Alright. Well, let's get some more... Let's get rid of some more tokens. So let's maybe do... Right, if we did Unbreakable, we'd have 2 punches and there's nothing to punch here. So let's do Red Counter instead. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, you may punch in your location whenever you ignore damage. Now, we don't have any way to ignore damage at the moment, but the key here is that I'm getting this card out and also I have a movement. So I think what I want to do is use the movement. That'll give other characters a chance to move as well, but also allows him to move and punch. And I noticed that there's a character to be punched over here. Now, there is Toad. I could start working on Toad. Interesting. let's see, who have we got coming up? We've got Mondo. Now Mondo has a bunch of things here, so with that movement, if I get started on Toad, maybe we could get rid of Toad and that would take out some of the chaos, because if we start taking crisis tokens, that could be problematic. But is it going to be enough to take Toad out? At least we could get a start on him. And at least there's 2 spots here, there's 2 spots here. Taking one extra guy out may not be... Yeah, Yeah, alright. So let's... Where is he? Yeah, right, so Kirishima's going to move over here. And he's going to deal 1 damage to Toad, I think. That's interesting. I know I said I really want to get rid of these, but if we can sort of get rid of his stuff and then we know what's happening with the other locations, that might be handy. So let's do that. Then we do have Mondo here. Oh, now what's Mondo drawn here? So he's drawn one of his interesting cards. I'll hold that up because that's got quite a bit of text for you to read there. Okay. Well, apologies, we've got a fly flying around the camera there. You can probably see real Australian ambience there. Alright, so draw 2 cards. Until the end of your turn, you may discard cards, but not your last card, to perform the action shown at the bottom of any cards discarded. Oh. Oh. So we get to draw 2, then discard them. But we don't get anything, and we're not giving anything to the next character. Oh, interesting. But this could be how we get rid of Toad this turn. Oh, interesting. Right. Oh, I like this. I like this puzzly. I like the puzzle that Mondo creates and the options he gives you. Alright, let's try this. Alright. Let's go. So, we know that we've got a movement here. So let's draw our 2 cards. We got a punch and we got a move and a star. Interesting. Now, I can discard cards to the bottom of my deck, but not my last card to perform action. So let's see, what can we do? I want to get rid of Toad, is one thing I want to do. Then the other thing I'd like to do is maybe get around to here and get rid of at least one of these guys, so that if Blob puts 2 things out, he's not getting there. The only thing I'm worried about, I can't really do anything about this location as well. That's probably a bridge too far, but let's see. Alright, so how are we going to do this? We've got a movement already, so let's move Mondo. So Mondo's going to move over here. Now, what do we need to take Toad out? We need 3 punches. So the punches are going to come from 2. Oops, sorry, I almost put them in the storyline. 2 wilds plus a punch. That's going to take Toad out. Alright. That's 1 mission cleared. Alright. Then, if I can move and heroic, that's going to let me move over here, rescue this guy, and put him there. And that just sort of clears a few more locations. The only one I'm still worried about is this one, but there's not much we can do about that. So these 2 remain in my hand. So I've essentially damaged myself there, but I think I feel a bit better about that now. Now what order do I want to put these in? Let's put them in this order. Okay, we'll put the double stars coming up sooner, then maybe a punch, I guess. Although if he keeps doing this, maybe we want moving heroic and then a punch. Yeah, alright, let's do that. Okay. That was an really interesting turn with Mondo. I really like that design as well. Alright, so we've taken those 3 health off. We've defeated Toad, so we don't have to worry about him bouncing around and shifting these locations around. And also robbing us of our actions with the crisis token. So we've stomped on Toad. Right. Okay. I think we're done there. The only thing is we've now given Ryu a very limited turn himself. But I think that was worth it. We wanted to get that in before this next round. Okay, well, let's see. Is the game about to end here? Is Toad going to fly around and drop locations, or drop thugs and civilians in spots we can't afford? Let's find out. Alright. Okay. Hold that up. Is this the Meeple Monkey's fastest ever game of Marvel United? Let's see. No, I don't think so. I think we survive at least one more round. So, let's have a look. So we put the card down, so he does one move. He lands in a belly slam location, so that is going to deal a damage to Mondo. Get 1 damage to each hero in this location. Bingo. Then he's going to do his BAM. So his BAM is that he deals a damage to each hero in his location, so that's Mondo KO'd. Now, there's nothing here about him playing face down cards when there's a KO. So the default rule is that he does a BAM again. So that's the rule normally in Marvel United, is if there's a KO, the bonus that the villain gets for causing a KO is that he gets to BAM again. So we'll put Mondo down. Oops, he's come off his base. I haven't glued that on yet. So Blob goes to BAM again in this location because it doesn't say you can move or anything. There's no active hero there because Mondo is not eligible at the moment. So his BAM goes to waste. Then we travel around the board looking for other BAMs. So we'll get to Pyro. Pyro blasts these 3 locations. We're okay now. So then we move to the placements. So now he's going to place a bunch of thugs out, isn't he? Is that right? Thugs, yeah. So he's going to put 1 in each location around him. So 1 here, 1 over here, and 1 here. That's a bit scary. Okay, so alright, we don't have to worry about crisis tokens. We're good with that. Good thing we don't have to worry about crisis tokens, because I realise now that I've forgotten to put crisis tokens out on the table, so that would have been a bit of a bummer. Alright, so it is now time for... I'll just see if I can fix this up. Pop him back on his base there. There we go. Just see if I can leave that without falling off again. There we go. Alright, so Whitebeard, I think you're up, buddy. So, is that right? Yep. So while that card's out, we can ignore a damage, but we don't get to draw an extra card now. This is the one instance where drawing a card you don't get to draw an extra one for Whitebeard's strongest man ability. Alright, so he's got a move and a punch. He's got 2 stars. Oh, sorry, it's not Whitebeard's turn at all. My apologies. Whoa. I think I just drew a move and a punch. Sorry. Alright. Oh, poor old Ryu sitting here going, hey, it's my turn. Alright, so Ryu gets to draw a card. He's drawn a Shoryuken, so that gives 3 punches. But I don't think it's the time for a Shoryuken. I think what it's time for is time to start clearing civilians. Or doing some punches, but there's no one to be punched nearby. We don't have anything to help us, so we may as well use a double action card here to do something useful. Now we could put a star down here, But what I think I want to do is jump over here and rescue this civilian, and that's going to free Whitebeard up to maybe do some more stuff over here, or we'll see how we go. We've got to get over here though, don't we? Because this is potentially problematic. Maybe when Mondo's not going to get a turn though. Someone's got to get over there, but maybe we're not much we can do about that this turn. Alright, so thank you Riot, that was good. A little bit towards the cause there. So you've given us a move and a heroic, and now Whitebeard, what are you up to? We're drawing one card and we're off to the races. So we could we got 3 and a move. We could completely remove this location or this threat, or we could completely remove this threat. If I played this down, I could completely remove that, or I could say remove these two and do that. And yeah, put one on there. Or I could use the move and the punch and the move and the star, and that would let me what would that let me do? I could get over here, remove these two. I could come this way, say remove this guy, move again, put a thing down on the belly slam. Or I could start with rescuing one of these guys. I feel like Red Riot is going to be able to maybe stand here and sort of take some of these guys out. So maybe I'm more interested in heading over here or staying here and clearing this. I think I need to get over here though. Right. What do I want to do? Do I leave these out? Taking a lot of damage over here, but is that a problem? Is that a problem? Because he can ignore a damage each turn. Yeah, maybe let's not worry too much about that. I've got to totally rethink the way I play Marvel United here with Blob, because I'm wondering if taking damage is that problematic, because he bams again, but your cards will go back into your deck. He doesn't play an extra card out, so he's not getting faster. I guess he's just lessening your options in your hands. But I think we're okay. I think if we do this, yeah, we play the move and the punch. So I move twice. I think before I move, I'm going to rescue this guy here, just to make this location, we don't have to worry about it for as long. Then over here, as we move across, I'm going to use the punch to defeat this thug, and hopefully we can sort of work on the thugs and the civilians maybe, and make those two our missions that we try and complete. Because I'm really worried about us just dropping the ball with the overflow. Okay, and then Red Riot. What have I given you? I've got a move and a punch. So if we do this one, he's just drawn a move and a punch. But I'm thinking if I put the unbreakable out, now I've got to remember, if I land in Blob's spot and I want to move away from him, I've got to use double movement, so that's interesting, but hopefully he'll move away from me. Right. So let's put Unbreakable out, so now we can ignore a damage each turn, each villain turn. Same as Whitebeard. Plus, now I can dish a damage back in return when I do take damage, and that might help me like clear thugs and stuff. So if I can go 1, and I've got 2 punches, so I'll punch 1 thug here and 1 thug over here. Now, does this say heroes using punch to damage block? I was just wondering, is it heroes using punches in his location, or is it heroes using punches to damage him and it's damaging him? Okay, it's not just in his location, it's also, it just says to deal damage to him. So even if you're dealing damage to him from adjacent spots, he still sort of absorbs it. You've got to do two attacks. Okay, so that's Red Riot's turn. He's given a punch to the next person, who will be Mondo. Alright, so Mondo isn't waking up yet though, because Blob gets turned now. If Blob lands, if he's over here, this could be a problem. Alright, let's see what he does. Alright, and we know Pyro's going to do some damage here as well. Alright, so what's he doing? Alright. Oh, he's sort of slow to get started, isn't he? He started with a 0. He's building up his momentum. He's on a 1 and then he's moving 1 again. So he's moving 1. Right. He doesn't land on anyone there. There's no landing spot location. He bams, doesn't hit anyone. Then we come around here though. Pyro does some damage, so he does a damage here. Whitebeard ignores it. He does a damage to Ryu. Ryu is not going to be able to ignore it. Let's maybe use 1. See, he's got movement. He needs sort of a movement to get out of his spot though, doesn't he? If I get stuck with... What else have I got? I've got the movement and the Shoryuken. You know what? Let's maybe lose the Shoryuken. And maybe that will come up later when we're trying to track down Blob. So let's maybe lose that one. Is that worth... Is that a silly idea? Because I'm just thinking maybe Ryu doesn't have any way to block damage, right? So he might be sort of taking some hits soon. So maybe it's... If we hang on to the Shoryuken for too long, we might end up having to lose it beforehand. That could be a silly thing to have done. But anyway, we'll see how we go. And then we've got... Oh yeah, he attacks that. So yeah, Pyro attacks these 3 spots. And then we've got to put out some civilians. So we're going to put a civilian... where is it? Yeah, we're going to put a civilian here, a civilian here, and another civilian here. Alright, so far so good. He hasn't put out like 2 civilians in a spot yet, but I'm worried that that's going to happen. Okay. What's he up to next? Really would be nice to end my turn in a location without a threat, but I'm sort of more focused on the civilians and thugs, aren't I? So that's the price I'm paying. So I believe it's Mondo's turn. Whitebeard, Red Riot, Mondo, Whitebeard, Red Riot, Mondo. Yep, and then it'll be Ryu. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. So what we essentially do is we draw 3 to stand him back up, and then we draw 1 extra sort of thing, or something like that. And then, so essentially always sort of start with 4 on the beginning of your turn when you wake up after being KO'd. But we know that Whitebeard will have 5 if that happens to him. Alright, so what have we got here? So I'll show these off first. We've got Wild and a move and a punch. And then we've got 2 copies of the other special card that he's got in his deck. So we've seen the matter absorption. Now we have organic travel. So I'll just show that off so you can have a read of it. And hopefully that's long enough. Okay. So move up to 2 times in the same direction. So you have to go sort of like straight, like you can't go back and forth. Move up to 2 times in the same direction. In each movement, you may bring 1 hero or a civilian or a thug with you. So you can bring 1 thing, and then you deal a damage to each thug, henchman, and villain in your location where you end up. So for example, here I could go 1, 2. I could say take Red Riot with me if I wanted to, and then I could take this thug with me over here, and then in the location I end up with, I could punch the thug, and then I'd be putting Red Riot in Blob's location or something like that. Oh, and it says up to 2 times. Oh, I was going to say, oh man, because yeah, if it's up to 2 times, what I'd really like to do is end here, and then I can say take the thug with me, and then I could deal a damage to both thugs in the location and Blob. That'd be cool. But Blob is not vulnerable at the moment, so that's not what we'll be doing this turn. And interestingly, that is not dealing damage with punches, so that would get through Blob's like double hit thing where you've got to spend 2 hits to get him, so that's a good one for trying to get him at the end. So in that case, where are we and what are we doing? We're not in Blob's starting, not in his location, so we can move freely. And I guess the locations are looking pretty, well, no, not really. They're sort of looking safe, except 1, 2, 3, they're actually only got 1 civilian each there, don't they? So now, knowing that Whitebeard is going to get a turn, maybe I should leave it up to Whitebeard to head over here and clear this, because that's what I was thinking. Mondo would step in here and start working on this, but I'm thinking maybe Mondo will not. I'm thinking maybe Mondo, he's got a punch there. So I'm thinking Mondo is going to use a move and a punch, and he's going to go over this way. So we've got a punch here, so I'm going to punch in this location before I leave. Then I'm going to move over here. Whoopsie. Really should have glued that before the stream. Let's see. There we go. 1 more thug here. So we've got 6 thugs. Got to get it cracking on the rescuing, don't we? Then we can end our turn there, and the beauty of that is we get a wild token for Mondo. Okay, Ryu. So Ryu is drawing a card. He's over here. We've given him a movement, and that's handy because what I'm thinking we'll do, we've got a move, we've got a punch, and we just drew a move, sorry, a punch and a star, punch and a heroic. So we're over here. So, and we've got a move and a punch there, so we could punch twice and do a heroic. What do we want to do? Well, there's not much going on here with the punching, is there? Well, should we put that out? It's going to give Whitebeard a lot he can do on his turn, as long as he can move. What's he got move-wise? Has he got move? He's got some move there. So what I'm thinking is Ryu. I'd like to deal with that, but it's not an emergency right now, so maybe we've got time to move over here, rescue this civilian, because we do want to get cracking on the rescuing, and then spend 2 punches to, because I can't spend the punches on anything else, just to damage Pyro, and then at least, even though we're not going for all the threats as a mission, at least we can sort of prevent that. I would like to get rid of these immovable objects. They would be really good, because if Blob ends up on those during his turns, that's not great, but yeah. Okay. Alright, Riot, that was your turn. And then we're going to end up with Whitebeard doing his turn, and then that will be the end of the heroes round. What do we just drew? We drew another double star there. So a double star would be great, but we're sort of stuck in a spot where the stars aren't going to be great at the moment. So I'd like to get moving. We've got this move and star. This is going to be problematic if we're using up on movement now, and then later when we're trying to hunt down Blob, but also trying to, whilst hunting him down, trying to keep these low. We might run out of movement to do that, but we'll see how we go. We're going to use now. Are we going to use the 2 punches to weaken Pyro, or are we going to step over here? And we're definitely going to rescue one of these guys. But are we going to do the 2 punches on these guys? I think we should. Alright. Yeah. Alright. And that's 1, 2, 3. Why do I only have 3 cards? Did I forget to draw a card with Whitebeard? Because he shouldn't have taken a damage at any point, should he? I think maybe I forgot when I did this, because he should be sitting on 4 cards, I think. I don't think I'm cheating here. I think I've cheated myself out of a card. Well, is there any reason why he would be losing a card? Because he was standing here, Pyro dealt A damage, but he ignores it with this. So I think I forgot to draw a card in his turn. So apologies for that if I've done that. I'm going to, because I think he should be sitting on a hand of 4. So I'm just going to show that's what he's got, and apologies if I'm cheating here. If I'm cheating, Blob is probably going to just instant wipe us here. So I think that's our, I think we've done everything. Yep, done our round. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It is now the villain's turn. What's he going to do? Alright. He is going to, he's going to move 2. So he's going 1, 2. He's definitely building up momentum, isn't he? Does that mean his next card's going to be a 3? Nothing stops the Blob. Alright, that's a classic line from the video game. Blob cannot be damaged until his next turn. Oof. Okay, so not only has he got these spots where he ignores an extra damage, and he's taken extra hits to damage him, but this card just flat out says until his next turn we can't damage him. And he's also got this jiggle physics out, which means if we do damage him, we take a hit. Thanks. Alright. But, the scary thing is here. This is what I was afraid of, something like this. Look at that. Look at all those civilians and thugs raining out. So, let's pop that over here. Oof. And he's putting, so thugs. Oh gosh. Look at this, look how close we were to just instantly losing, and look how close we still are. Okay. And we're all over here too, this is not good. Okay, we're going to have to get a move on. 2 here, and then 2 civilians. Oh my goodness. How are we going to do this? This is scary. Oh, and he also did land in a belly slam spot, but there were no heroes here to damage, because he wasn't bamming, that's interesting. But he would have damaged anyone who was standing here. Now there's no bam that happens with this one as well, so that means Pyro does also not damage us as well. So who's up next? Is it Red Riot? It is 2. It's Red Riot's turn. Alright, Mr. Red Riot. What have we got here? We've got move, 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 punch. A wild and a punch. Well, let's move and punch, I guess. Because what that will let us do is move twice and do 2 punches. So we could either go 1, 2 and do 2 punches here, or we could go 1, 2 and do 2 punches here. Now who's coming up next? We've got Mondo, who is over here, so he's likely to be able to get over here. And then we've got Ryu. Now Ryu's over here anyway, but still in Ryu, if we see, if Mondo deals with this and Red Riot deals with this, then Ryu hopefully can come in and maybe deal with some of this or something. Alright, let's try it. So what did we say after all that? I think we're going this way. 1, 2. We're gonna ooh, now interesting though. Interesting. This is because if we get rid of these 2 thugs, we're then giving him a turn before Ryu's going to get a turn. Now there's 2 spots here, so hopefully this location can hold on for a little bit longer. So maybe what we will do, we need to do some rescuing. How are we going to rescue? So maybe we'll spend the punches here. In which case, is that the card I want to play? What else would I have played? Yeah, I guess. Pyro just doesn't seem... I feel like maybe I should be going for these... Yeah. Oh well. At least I'm giving Mondo a movement. Yeah, movement a punch. If he punches though. What's Mondo got? Let's have a look what Mondo's got. He's got that organic travel thing. He's got this. Maybe instead of that, what do we want to do here? A double move. What have we got? We've got a move and a punch there. Because if we play the wild, move, punch, wild, the wild gives us some more rescuing power. Because if we leave this here, if we aren't too worried about this guy, we could do that. What would that let us do? We could just rescue, because I suppose rescuing, we could come over this way actually, couldn't we? No, we wouldn't be able to move that far, but still, this might be better. I don't know, because if we're not dealing with these, save this one maybe. We were here, so we can step this way. Maybe rescue this civilian. Then we get a wild token, which could be handy. Then, that hasn't moved us towards this. So now it's Mondo's turn. Ah, Mondo's got matter absorption. Oh. Now matter absorption is interesting because if we use Yeah, because he's not going to be able to do much with just a single wild there. He's got a wild token, but if we do matter absorption, not going to give Ryu a great turn, but at least it's going to give him a turn before Blob goes. But we might be able to do a bunch of stuff over here. So let's maybe go that matter absorption. We get to draw 2 cards. We've got to remember we have a wild token. Draw 2. Got ourselves a double wild and a double punch. So this is interesting. Oh, this is interesting. What can we do here? Now, we can only play these for the symbols on the bottom, right? To perform the actions shown at the bottom of any discarded cards. Alright, so we can discard a bunch of these. I was going to say, oh, we could do a bunch of stuff here to maybe try and complete both missions with a bunch of these wilds, and then in the same turn organic travel and do some damage to Blob, negating his like tough power, but we can't discard these to get these abilities, it's just the bottom stuff. Alright. So the question is, do I do enough to put him... Do I do enough just to take out 2 civilians? Or do I just go the whole hog and complete both and put him under pressure? Because the problem with putting him under pressure now is that then Ryu, yeah, he'd be vulnerable, but then Ryu would be starting without anything to go with, which isn't great. And we've just put his Shoryuken at the bottom, haven't we? So that's not good. But I think we do it because otherwise if we don't do it, then if I just take out 2 civilians, then these spots could get overflowed. So I think we're going to do it. In which case, let's see, if I can, I'm here with Mondo, I've got a wild, so I can use that wild to move into this spot. Then I can use this. Can I do enough to get all of these? I don't know. I don't even actually know if I can do enough to do all of these. Sorry. I'm not actually playing these, am I? Sorry. So let's go 1, 2, 3 to take out 1, 2. Sorry. Let's go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then let's use this move to... Wait. Oh yeah, there was no punch there. Alright, I was thinking, oh, did we forget Pyro's bam? But there was no bam there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wilds. So we've stepped in, taken out these 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, take out, or we can do one more thing, which is to step in here. Is that right? 1 to step in, 2, 3 to take these guys out, 4 to take him out, 5 to step in again. So in fact what we have to do is maybe use that. So that takes out those guys. The movement gets us, the movement from there gets us in. From over there actually gets us in here. Getting confusing myself here. So, so that's move in. Let's spend this one to do the other movement. So that's all the movements done. Then we're doing 2 punches. And then we need 3 stars, don't we? 1, 2, 3. That's the 3 stars. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 stars, 2 punches, and then we've got a movement and a movement. So I think we're all good. There we go. Wow, that was confusing. All right, so we'll definitely put this one up. Maybe followed by the double punch. Maybe followed by the star. Oh no, hold on. We'll do it the other way around. So yep. So wilds are more likely to come up sooner. Put that there. This is our hand, so we've left ourselves with 2 cards in our hand. And we've spent our wild, but we have managed to complete those 2 missions, thereby making him under pressure. So Blob is now under pressure, but he's also gone immediately to vulnerable, if I've done that correctly. Meaning we can now start hurting him, but he also gets to go straight away now because we've played 2 hero turns. So that's done. So Ryu's going next. He's not going to have a huge turn, but we'll see what Blob, how he responds. Now what's the locations looking like here? Man, they fill up pretty quick when he plays one of those scary ones, don't they? Alright, so he is now doing this. Okay, what's he doing? He's moving 2. 1, 2. Ooh, he lands on Whitebeard. So he's going to do a punch on Whitebeard, or a bam I should say. Whitebeard will shrug that off, but then we go around and Pyro is going to deal the damage to him. So he can't shrug that off, so we'll lose 1 card. I think in this particular instance we'll lose a double star maybe, or a single wild. Maybe the double stars are handy just for clearing civilians, but I think a wild is more versatile. So, and he's got another double wild and a double star anyway there, so we'll do that. Now, not only does Whitebeard take a hit there from Pyro, but so does Pyro. So Pyro is going to lose... Not Pyro, sorry. I think I said that the wrong way around. Ryu's not doing the damage. Pyro's doing the damage, Ryu's going to take a hit. Ryu is going to lose maybe the... not sure that it matters. What's he going to do in his turn? Maybe he'll lose the movement so he can just... Because I think all he's going to get to do is do a punch, so he may as well just punch one of these guys, so I think that's what we're going to do. Then old Mondo loses a card. Unfortunately, I'd love to have both of these organic travels in my hand. This was the problem as well of giving Blob a turn now, but yeah, organic travel has to go underneath. You know what I should have done is... Oh no, I couldn't do that because I wasn't taking damage, was I? I was sort of like spending them, discarding them. But yeah, okay. Interesting. And now... I think I'm going to get hit by Pyro twice actually now. That's not good. Alright, so... I might lose my organic travels before I even get to use them. I think it is Blob's turn to put out some of these guys. So we've done the 3 damage here. He's got 1 left. He's got 1 left. He's on 3. He's on 3. And we are putting... Where's Blob? He's here. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we want to damage him real quick, but we also can't forget that these are here, and we have to sort of keep an eye on that too. So it is Ryu's turn. Ryu gets to draw a card. Oh, look at that, he's got a double punch. Is he going to use the... I was going to say, I could use a single punch. So I could save the double punch for like when I'm attacking Blob, but the double punch lets me take out 2 of these, or you know, put Pyro really under pressure, but also gives 2 punches to, who's next? Whitebeard. And Whitebeard's right there, so maybe that's better. So I don't get anything from Mondo, but I am doing 2 punches. I really like how all these different homebrew heroes are comboing together and stuff. It's interesting. Alright, so 2 punches from Ryu. Do we get rid of Pyro? Pyro could be a distraction. He could be our downfall, but he could also be just a distraction, like something to soak up punches. Let's get rid of 2 while we can, just to make that location less of a problem later on. Then Whitebeard gets to have a turn before Blob goes again. So there's nothing to worry about with the locations where Whitebeard is at the moment. So I think Whitebeard can concentrate on just wailing on Blob. So what have we got? What did I just draw then? Ooh. I don't think I had 2 special cards, so I must not have just drawn that. So let's have, so the Seaquake I think I already had. That's the one where we do 3 damage, split as you like in your and adjacent locations. Or the Hippo Center or Hypo Center attack. So that does 2 damage to a single target in your location, plus it comes with a move and a punch, whereas the Seaquake only comes with 1 move. Right. So in that case, maybe let's use this one, because then it will give Red Riot, who's next, more of a chance to catch Blob if Blob ends up far away from him. Like, give him some, like, sorry, doesn't need the catch up thing, but it will give him another punch. So if he only ends up with like 1 punch, it will give him something that he can punch with or something. Maybe let's try that. What's he got? Has he got any double punches? No, see, he doesn't have any double punches, so maybe this will help him if you can get to him. So let's do that, because that's going to give him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punches in total, which I think is enough to do 2 damage, if I'm correct. Yeah, let's keep the Seaquake. Like, where's his other card? Here it is. Alright. So, now, where are we? We're over here. Oh, while Blob is in this location, he ignores 1 damage each turn. Oh, that's no good. Ah, that's problematic, isn't it? Well, it is what it is. Boy. Wow, we're going to expend a lot of punches here just to do 1 damage. Because and then what's his rule about he does damage to us? Let's see. So heroes using punch to damage Blob use 2 instead of 1. Yeah, okay. But then this one, this is okay. Heroes take 1 time whenever they deal any damage to Blob. Whenever they deal any damage to Blob. Is that like, I guess it's just like in the turn? So Canje, let us know in the comments, I guess, if That's it's not like each damage. So when heroes take 1 damage whenever they deal any damage. So I guess it's like, yeah, we total all up for the turn, we deal the damage, and then if we've done some damage to him, we take a hit. We don't take a hit for each one we deal. Alright, I think that's right. Because technically it could be, you could read it like, well, because this 2 damage is dealt as part of that special attack, that's like 2 damage as one thing, and then you can add more damage. And is that like 2 separate instances of attacking him, or is it like you just sort of count it all together? So I think we sort of count it all together, right? So, but I'm just wondering now if it goes 1, 2, 3. It was still going to be 5 either way, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. So this is going to be 2 damage, like 2 punches to do 1 damage, he ignores it. Then 2 punches to do another damage, he takes that hit. So we've done at least 1 damage to him. Then I've got 1 more punch left that's not going to hurt Blob, so I'm going to use that on the thug here. And then, oh, I can move, but because I'm where Blob is, I can't move twice. So I in fact can't move because I've only got the 1 movement there. And I take 1 damage because I blocked the sorry, I take 1 damage because of the jiggle physics, but I just want to check here because I might not be able to block this because it might be, yeah, you can ignore 1 damage each villain turn. I can't ignore damage on my own turns, so I do have to take a hit here, and I guess I'll lose the double stars. Alright, okay, that's an interesting turn. Alright, so but now we're back to Blob again because he's under pressure. Alright, is he going to go? Okay, so I think we're in a position where he can't defeat us with, unless there's some really scary card. I don't think he can defeat us with this turn, but we'll see what happens. He might be working towards it though. So he's moving 2, 1, 2. So he lands right on Red Riot. Interesting. So he lands on him, does a damage. That is going to be enough to actually do 1 hit, but then Red Riot blocks the damage, so he doesn't get the hit, and then he can deal a damage, but Blob isn't going to be damaged by that because he doesn't just say deal a damage, does it? It says do a punch, is that right? You may punch in your location whenever you ignore damage. So, because he's punching, it counts as that. So he basically, Blob is just going to absorb that. So they're sort of both wailing on each other and can't hurt each other. But if there was a civilian, a thug there, I could have done that, or maybe like a henchman. That would have been cool. But that's not the case, so that's not going to happen. So we don't take any damage. He lands there. It is a ban. So over here, these guys are all going to take a hit. Whitebeard, he blocks that damage. Riot is going to take a hit. Then who's this? Mondo. Mondo is also going to get KO'd. Oh, this could be interesting. So they're both KO'd. He's not. It's 1 damage each. Now, that KO, let's have a read of this thing here, because I think it's once per, ignore 1 damage each villain turn, so he can only absorb that, sorry, not him, Red Riot, but I think it's the same. You may ignore 1 damage during each villain turn, yeah, so he ignores the first one from Blob landing on him, but then the 2 KOs cause Blob to bam again, meaning he can do 2 more hits, so we actually do lose 2 cards. So I think I'm going to lose these 2, the double move and the single punch. Yeah, that's a bummer. Okay. Wow, it took some big hits there. So remember we said Pyro was going to be a pain. But now we get Red Riot's turn. And so red, right. Oh, hold on. And before we do that, we have to put out some tokens here. So this is interesting. 1, 2. Oh, yeah, because this could be problematic for us if we don't deal with this now. Right, so Blob is going to... Oh, we're going to get KO'd by Blob here when we actually attack him. So we can move and punch. Who's coming up next? Mondo. So we sort of need... Oh, we've got to move and a punch here. No, we don't need to move. Sorry, what am I talking about? Okay, so we could use move and punch to like jump out of the way, I guess, but we'd still be taking a damage with the jiggle physics. Yeah, whenever they deal any damage, not just in his location, but if we step away, we'd still take a hit. Because I'd like to give them movement, even though it's 2 movement there that we don't need. I'd like to give a movement to Mondo, because we don't know what Mondo's got in his deck, and in fact we do know that I think his ones where he gets to like speed on through underground, I think they're both at the bottom of the deck, which is really unfortunate, because they would have been great for just bypassing all of this. So, yeah, we don't know what he's got, so maybe we need to give him a movement. But if we do that, then we are not able to rescue any civilians. And we sort of need to rescue civilians, don't we? Which is why I was thinking this would be good, because then we can go rescue a civilian. But then we're really in trouble. If we have a turn where he can't do anything, because he just can't get there, that's real lame. I mean, we're not even guaranteed that he's going to get there with a single movement, but we're making it easier on ourselves. Right. I think we've got... Oh, you know what? We've got the wild token. So maybe that can give us a civilian rescue. So let's do this. Let's go 2 movement, which we don't really need to use. We'll do the 2 punches to do 1 damage. He doesn't get to ignore that because he's not on an immovable object spot. So we'll do 1 damage to him. He's got 4 left. We rescue 1 civilian with our wild token, but then we take a wild token back for ending our turn in this location. So, alright, so that's not bad. This is still problematic over here, but not much we can do about that. Right, so yeah, not moving, 2 punches. Yep, we did the 1 damage. I think we're good. On to Mondo's turn. Mondo, please get a movement in one of your with one of your cards. Although if he gets a movement but it doesn't have a punch, it's also a bit useless. But I guess we could work on some thugs or something. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? Okay, what's he got? No, draw a movement card. Yeah, we're all good. Okay, so we've got a single star, a double star, a single punch. This is not looking good. Oh, and a move and a star. Ugh. Okay, so Mondo is not going to be able to do a thing about Blob, which is unfortunate because he's only got a single punch, and that is not great. So what can he do with this turn? What can he piece together that might give, who's next, Ryu a chance? I suppose if he does a move and a star, it gives Ryu a chance to get to where Blob is, wherever that may be. And what else could he do? He could do 2 stars. Again, Ryu wouldn't be doing much with 2 stars though, would he? No. Moving a star. Slim pickings. Okay. So Mondo is going to do... Well, that's interesting. He could get all the way over here and gain himself a wild token and rescue this civilian. There's nothing I can do about here. I can't reach there because that could end the game if he somehow puts a second token in there. So I could head. So basically I could waste the punch, head this way, not punch anything, and then gain a token and rescue a civilian somewhere along this line. Or I could say place a star here, move up and rescue a civilian, or defeat a thug I should say. The thug doesn't seem as important. Maybe even just damaging Pyro might be good. And placing a star on here. This could be problematic though. Is that worth doing? Or am I putting myself in a spot where he's not likely to be near when it gets around to his turn again? Having characters that are not going... Yeah. Alright, well let's just leave it at that. Alright, let's see what he does next. That could have been a... I don't know if that's a great move. I feel like I didn't really do anything with that turn, but... Alright. I feel like I've just tried to give some movement to the next character. But without much else. Uh-oh, what's this? 3, 1. I just saw the I saw the lots of character dropping. Now I'm thinking, oh, I really should have actually worked on the thingy, shouldn't I? So 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. So oh, he's not doing a BAM though. So he's landing. There's no landing effect. He's not doing a BAM. Oh, but he can't be damaged until his next turn. Oh, that's awful because he's right next to two characters that were really close to him and could have done a bunch of damage to him. Oh, that's not good. And he's putting tons of things out, so I guess we just have to spend our turns wiping all these guys out again. Oh no, this is not good. This is particularly bad because he's just filled up April's apartment and I just left April's apartment too. That's not good. Oof. Alright, well, who's up next? Well, that was bad. Oh no. Okay. Ryu, I think. 1, 2. And Ryu can't leave. Unless he gets a lot of movement. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got a punch. We also have a move and a star there. We've got a move and a punch. We've got this hurricane kick. Oh, we've got a double wild. Well, we could move twice and double star. This might be more handy for punching him, but we've got moves and punches for down the track. We could move and punch, so we could do this, which would let us, we could at least get out, and then we could, say, punch one and star the other. But I think I need to get rid of these two. It's a shame to use this wild on a turn that we can't hurt him. Now hold on, who did some damage to him? And Red Riot did damage to him, didn't he? Sorry guys, I'm just going to go back because I think Red Riot would have KO'd himself. I think I forgot to do that jiggle physics thing with Red Riot, and I'm pretty sure, so that would have just triggered another BAM of blobs in Red Riot's turn, and no one else was there to take the hit. But it would have stopped Red Riot from gaining the token, which is a shame. In which case maybe moving would have been a better move. Because remember, I was able to move, but I was staying put to gain that, but I guess that's not too bad. Yeah, sorry about that. Do I do that instead? What else am I going to use it on? This is the only way I can get rid of both of these, but then I guess I'm still leaving one there, aren't I? Still. Alright, let's do that. So Ryu's going to play the double wild, so he's going to what's he doing here? He's got, so I'm using the 2 movement symbols as movement to get away from Blob, and then I'm using 1 more of the wilds and the heroic to rescue those 2 civilians. Oof. Then I'm drawing a card for Whitebeard. Now Whitebeard has, now he's not allowed to damage him at all. So this is a problem, and they're both of them on either side. Oh. Well now, this is interesting. I could, so I've got the double wild, so I could use the double wild to sort of like step over here and do a bunch, clear this out, or step over here and do a bunch, clear that out. Or I could use the Seaquake, which gives me 3 punches, which is very handy. And it's also in adjacent location, so it'd be really handy for catching him on the fly. But I could use this to prevent us from getting overflowed, and hopefully then I've got a double wild for protecting myself later on. Hopefully he just doesn't step into this location again on one of these immovable spots. Okay, so let's do that. Yep, let's do that. And then, because what that lets me do is do 3 punches, sorry, split as you like in your and adjacent locations. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. One, two. Three. And then 1, 2, 3. Let's go 2. 2 rescues. And then maybe step into this spot. Now it's a belly slam spot, but it is what it is. Okay. Alright. So Blob's turn again. Oof, we're running out of time, aren't we? We've only got a few, and he's got 4 health. There was a whole round where we really could have slammed him. We had wilds everywhere and all sorts of stuff. Okay, he is moving 3 again. And then, oh, he's putting a bunch of guys out again. 1, 2, 3. He lands in Red Riot spot, but Red Riot I don't think is up yet, so Red Riot ignores the hit, which is good. But we've only given Red Riot a single move, which is not great. Well, I hope Red Riot has two punches. And he's putting a bunch of guys out, which is also not great, because this is going to really fill up. 1, 2, 1, 2. And 1, but there's no BAM. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, so there's no BAM, and that last card was there, no, so these guys are safe from that. I think I've remembered every time Pyro's done his BAM thing. Alright, so let's go with, is it Red Riot's turn? Right, so the good news is Red Riot wakes up right where he is, but the bad news is 1, 2, 3, 4. If we don't have 2 punches, we can't really do anything on our turn because we've only got a movement from Whitebeard. So we've got a punch. Oh. Okay. At first I was like, oh no, we've only got these ones here. Oh no. Do you know what I just realized? Like, oh man, Whitebeard's getting a bit slow in his old age. I forgot the very important line here. This damage is unpreventable. So Whitebeard could have actually used that Seaquake to deal the damage to Blob because it was unpreventable, which would have negated this ability here, I'm guessing. Not sure actually, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Actually not sure. I'm not actually sure the interaction between them actually. But yeah. Pretty sure it would have been able to attack, but I forgot. Alright. Because I've got this red gun turret here, and that says do 2 punches, so it's going to deal a damage in my location, and the damage can't be ignored, so that's pretty good. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I might stay where I am though to draw the wild token, and I'll use the star because I've got this movement, but I'm not going to use it. I'll use this. Oh, although should I? Because this is not good over here, is it? That could be really problematic. But I mean, it was problematic over here too, right? They're all kind of overflow spots. I suppose it's more likely he's going to move and put stuff out, but I don't know if I can do anything about that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rescue this guy. I'm going to get my wild token, and I'm going to do the 1 damage to him. So 2 punches, does a damage, unpreventable. Again, I don't know if that... It just says this damage cannot be ignored. Yeah, so I think it's the same thing with this. I would have done 1 punch, but I would have been able to ignore. It wasn't this I was thinking about, sorry. It was that I would have been able to ignore whatever that card was. The nothing stops the blob. That's what I could have blocked. I could have got through it, I guess. Oh well. So that's the wild token I got at the end of the turn. So let's do now a let's see. Let's do a Mondo turn. So Mondo has a bunch of cards, not great cards for hunting down Blob. So he's going to have 3 health, I believe, at the end of this turn still. Oh, we've drawn a double wild. Drawn the double wild. So that's, but that's not going to do anything. He's too far away and doesn't, yeah. He wouldn't even have enough movement to get there with the double wild. So Mondo's turn is going to have to revolve around maybe dealing with this somehow. And there's not much you can do about it, unfortunately. He's going to have to use double wild. Do I just like risk it and leave that there and like save this for when we need it? Or, because who's coming up next? Got Ryu. I guess it gives Ryu a chance to do something if he's near Blob. But I think what we'll do is we'll move 1, 2 over here. Because this is all pretty safe at the moment. And then we will rescue. Because we've only got to star this, we have to rescue, so we can't take out a thug. Now, oh, we've got some, what is it? Is that midnight? Don't know. There's some fireworks going off this thing. I feel like it's not midnight yet, but maybe I'm wrong. I feel like this hasn't been going for too long. That is one thug gone, so now we've done the most we can, because if we, ooh, I totally forgot about this. This is not good either. Oh boy. Yeah, he could beat us here just by overflow, but I feel like we've done everything we can with the overflow. Alright, so let's find out what he does. What's he up to? Hold that up there for a little while, and oh, he's going, uh-oh. Is this going to do us in? 1, 2, 3, no it doesn't. Phew. We got lucky, we survived another turn. He's not bamming. There's no belly flops. And he's going to put these here. And well, we got 1, 2, he's going to put another 2 out over here. Okay. 2 civilians and 2 more, oh, sorry, 1 more civilian in this spot. But he's certainly making us, now we're in trouble, because now we've got to do 3 damage to him somehow and keep this clear with not many turns left in the game. So, boy oh boy, how are we going to do this? Who is up? What's going on? It is Ryu's turn. He's not too far away. Let's see what he can do. He's going to draw 1 card. Yep. Ooh, he's got a Hadouken. So what can he do with this? He's got wild. You may use 2 punches in an adjacent location. Hold on a second. I've been forgetting the jiggle physics, I think, haven't I? So, who just did some damage then? I think Mondo didn't do damage, but Red Riot did damage, so I guess we'll lose the single star. Forgot about that. Sorry, jiggle physics. I don't think Whitebeard attacked him in the previous round, but I don't know if there were other rounds where these guys were attacking and then didn't take the damage, so apologies if that's the case. Now, my New Year's resolution is to make less mistakes. So there you go. Right, so we've got the move. Here's the. He's got a hurricane kick as well. But the hurricane kick really is more about movement, because it's, you gain a movement token for each thug you defeat, but the card itself gives you no ability to take out thugs, so you sort of have to pair it with punches. So it's a way to sort of get lots of movement to travel around the board, but that's not what we need at the moment. We've got a move and a punch, and we've got a punch, and then we've got this Hadouken. So normally you'd think, well, a Hadouken's great, right? But who's going after this? Whitebeard is, and Whitebeard's all the way over here. So I almost feel like I need to give him another movement. What would this let us do? We could use one of these as a move, and we could do 2 punches, combine that one with that one, and then 2 punches, so that would be a total of 2 damage to him in our turn. Now if we do that, we're not leaving Whitebeard with any ability to get over here. We're leaving him with a single punch. So Whitebeard would need 1, 2 movement, plus he'd need 1 more punch. And at the moment, for example, I've got the double. In fact, I don't even know if there's a Is there even such a card with Whitebeard? I've got the double punch. I've got the double movement here. Double wild. That would let him go 1, 2. And then with the single punch that Ryu leaves him, he wouldn't be able to do anything. That's a shame. But this would leave him on 1 hit point. No one else has a lot of punches though, right? This would leave him on 1 hit point, and then maybe Red Riot or someone could do something to him in the next turn if maybe Whitebeard spends his time clearing around here if we can. Maybe that's my plan. So we'll do Hadouken, we'll go move 1 with the wild, step in, we will then use 2 punches to take 1 health off, another 2 punches here. In fact, before we move, we have to do the Hadouken in an adjacent location, so we'll do that first. Then we step in and do the second damage. So we've got 1 hit point left. Alright, exciting, right down to the end. Now we do have to lose a card. I think I'm going to lose this Hurricane Kick. Because it doesn't give us... I don't think it's going to give us what we need, right? Don't think so. Right. That's for the jiggle physics, taking the damage there. Then Whitebeard, depending on what he draws here, maybe he'll get some amazing... Oh, he's got Seaquake. Oh, I think we've got him. Oh, Whitebeard for the win. Okay, because... Hold on, have we got him? Yeah, I think we do, because... oh my god. I was saying, I don't think there is another card, because I thought, oh, well, he's played his Seaquake and he's played his... Hippo Center, but he's got a second Seaquake. So what this does is, let's think this. He hasn't had any cards that make him invulnerable, no, and this would be unpreventable anyway, right? Then he doesn't have any. He's not standing in a spot that gives him. Like, you know, ignore a damage or anything like that, so I think we're okay. So Whitebeard steps up, he's got 1 move here, and then he's got 3 damage, split as you like in your and an adjacent location, and the 3 damage, now I'm not sure if we would have been allowed to combine, say, the 3 damage here. I think we could, to do like, you know, to do 2 damage, but either way, we only really need to do this now. And that is enough to get through and do at least 1 damage. And we take down Blob. Nothing stops the Blob except the strongest man in the world. Alright, Whitebeard, down he goes. So wow, what a real team effort that was. Oh my god, it took all of us combined multiple turns to like topple him. But what a great design. By Canje. That's a really cool villain. I really like Blob. He's just so because on paper he sounds pretty boring, alright? Like, you know, no offense to Canje, but like, you know, he's just a big tough guy. Doesn't have a lot of health, but you know, his gimmick is that, you know, it's hard to sort of move around him, and it's also, you know, you got to spend a lot of punches to get through him. Also, like, he's got those cards like, you know, for this round you can't hurt him at all, or, you know, over here, you know, it takes even extra damage because he sort of blocks one and all that sort of stuff. But it's just kind of like, okay, well, yeah, okay, you just got to do a lot of damage to him, right? But I think the genius thing here that makes the fight feel really interesting and puzzly and a really sort of tactical game is the villainous plot. This idea that if a single location overflows, and again, apologies if I've cheated somehow, we forgot a move or we forgot something and there should have been an extra overflow or something like that, but I think we did it right, apart from those few mistakes I made. But I think we caught all of those, hopefully, fingers crossed. But that makes, okay, so now you're not just thinking about, okay, well, we've just got to sort of save up our punches and get him at the end sort of thing. and you know, oh, we can afford to sort of get rid of a lot of these threats so that they're not a big problem. You know, we can either get rid of Blob and not Blob, Toad and Pyro, or we can get rid of these immovable spots so that, you know, he's not going to be blocking as much damage. The fact that you have to be so careful with the threat, with the overflow, really sort of turns the game on its head. It really makes the game, like all great villains in Marvel United, feel really different. Like this is it plays super different to a lot of other ones. Like I was saying, you know, I had to really sort of rethink my way of playing, because if you've watched all my other videos, I think in every other game I go straight for the threats. I start removing as many dangerous, scary threats as possible first, and then start worrying about overflow. But from this one, you have to be worried about it right from the get-go. And I think that, coupled with Blob's immovability and that sort of stuff, you know, his endurance, makes him really interesting, because you have to be working on this so you're not reducing any of his threat power with you know, making him so hard to sort of pin down at the end. So I think that's really good. And he's got, what makes it so scary is that, as you can see in his master plan deck, he's got so many, you know, he's got a few cards where he's going out and he's putting one here, one there, sort of thing. Okay, but he's got a bunch of them that drop like 2 in both adjacent locations, or sometimes, you know, in each location around him, sort of thing. And so it can really feel, you feel like, oh yeah, I'm working on this, I'm just keeping this down easy, we've got this, but you're constantly feeling like, oh, if I leave a single spot open, he could come and exploit it. And he's got a range of movement. Like, it was funny, he sort of built up, didn't he? He went 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Wow, he really did. He went faster each turn, didn't he? He was like a cannonball, like the Juggernaut. But yeah, he's got a range of those, and I think there are some in here in his deck. That, yeah, he's got like, yeah, he's got some 5, so they were coming up. But the 5s don't drop as many. But yeah, that was scary. And he's got another jiggle physics, so he could be, this is another great one as well. And apologies if I did forget one of the characters getting an extra hit there too. But if you have 2 of these out, as long as, oh no, it's just as long as any jiggle physics cards are up. Okay, I was going to say, if he had, that'd be a nightmare if he had both of these out and it was for each one, so that he's sort of like dealing 2 damage. But yeah, so I guess if there's heroes that can, like, you know, flip villain master plan cards and stuff like that, this sort of protects against it for a little while. Well, that's very cool. So well done, Canje. I think that was an excellent villain. Blob is really super cool. I really like his Toad design as well. And I was thinking Toad was my favourite of the ones I played, but this go around with Blob again has reminded me how good Blob's design was as well. So excellent. I actually don't know if I played Pyro, so I'm going to have to see. I'll have to pull these rules out and have a look at him again, see if I remind myself if I've played against Pyro, because I'm sure he's a tough one as well. But yeah, that was very cool. So excellent work with Blob, and I hope you guys also liked what you saw with the other. I wanted this to be a bit of a showcase of a range of great work that people have been putting out all year, all these homebrew designers. So I hope you really liked all the hero designs too. Whitebeard, as you saw, Whitebeard was particular. That was a particularly powerful hero design. But again, that's sort of by design with the One Piece stuff, and also just, you know, the heroes in Marvel United. They do range in power and stuff, and he just happens to be right up the top end, but that sort of suits. Well, sorry folks, but the camera decided to cut me off there. Said you started playing the Oscars music, you know, it's time to get off. Yeah, just I think I ran out of ran out of storage on the last card. Must have been a really long battle, so apologies for that. But just wanted to finish off by, yeah, I think I was just starting to highlight all the great work being done by the designers of the heroes here. So we talked about Blob, Canje, or Derek's design from Canje Studios there. He's put out a plethora of really great villain designs. I know we just saw Punisher, so definitely check out his stuff as well. But yeah, we've got some really talented homebrewers out there, and I really appreciate all the work they've been doing, and just wanted this sort of final video for the year just to sort of be a bit of a showcase and show off all the great stuff they've been doing. So I hope you really enjoyed Whitebeard. You know, he's such a cool character. Helios 23 really captures the craziness of One Piece, and this is such an epic character in Whitebeard, and he was so imposing, you know, having that sort of extra health as well, and being able to sort of like, we didn't really get to see him. Normally he'd probably be interacting with locations that let him sort of really boost up his health and stuff a bit more and that sort of thing as well, but we definitely got to see him sort of dish out a lot of damage there, and was able to sort of be a bit of a star against Blob that was able to sort of get through some of his damage. And I even sort of forgot that unpreventable thing as well. We had Mondo, a really great design by DividedSky or Dave, and you know, really showed off what neat work can be done with the InDesign system as well, with the cards and how they look as well. And I forgot to mention that we also got the services of an artist named Erwin Thunder as well. Canje was able to find him, and so we've been able to do some really great original artwork there too, and Mondo's an example of that. So he's really cool, and I really liked his card designs. You know, those two cards, the matter absorption and the organic travel, I think are really fun ones, and create a bit of a really interesting puzzle with him, especially with that. You know, how many cards do you choose to play? Do you have a really monstrous turn, but then leave yourself a little bit lacking after that, and then, you know, leave the other characters in the lurch a little bit? He's really fun one. We had Riot as well, the inspiration for all the Streetfighter, Marvel vs. Capcom stuff as well, and a really good sort of just classic hero, not too over the top, but has, you know, really pretty much perfectly captures Ryu from the video game in that it's sort of all his major moves you would expect to be there. So we've got the hurricane kick where he spins himself across the board, and the Shoryuken, which we unwisely put at the bottom of our deck, but we did get to use right at the right moment this Hadouken, which really set Blob up for defeat there. Sort of had him teetering for Whitebeard to finish off. So great design by Norrlyth there with Ryu, and I even when designing Ken, I pretty much you know, because they're pretty much identical in the game as well, I pretty much just sort of made almost like a reskin of Ken. I think I just maybe changed one card sort of thing, but you know, and his distribution of attacks and heroics and stuff. But as far as the special moves and stuff, I thought I'll pay homage to Ryu's design, not Norrlyth's design there. And then xnellynelx, excellent Red Riot, also was a bit of a star as well, a bit of a punching bag, but was able to dish out some damage there. And again, right at the right time, had the red gun turret when we needed it too. We got pretty lucky with some of those card draws as well. So lots of great stuff there. Thank you guys. To all the other homebrewers out there, people just getting into it for the first time, like Andrew Fantasia, or you know, I think Martin V designed I still really want to do that multi Wolverine villain battle as well. But you know, anyone else who's really sort of starting to get into it and that sort of thing, keep up the good work, and you know, can't wait to see what you come up with down the track. And another thing too, I wanted to point out the great work of I think it's Table Play. They make these really, you know, this is what I use for my storing all my Marvel United stuff, and in this particular set I've got all the stuff from My Hero Academia, so you can see how much work xnellynelx put in with the amount of heroes and villains and stuff. But we also have, I've got the TMNT stuff in here too as well, which is really cool, but there's lots of cool stuff there. But I really like these. They're really, really solid, really feel really premium, nice sort of, I don't know what the material there is, acrylic or something like that, but really cool. And you can send in you know, your specs for what you want, what your heroes' names or villains' names and stuff are, and their different spreads of, I don't know, is that showing? Yeah. There we go. So you can put your different spreads of attacks and heroics and all that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, really cool. So great stuff there, and you can even have your where are they? Even have your anti-heroes and that sort of stuff as well. There's a design for that as well. So lots of cool stuff there. So, and the guy Josh, who's behind that that project as well, the table play stuff, really nice guy as well, so definitely worth supporting. So lots of people have all their different ways of sort of organising and have all the different dividers and cards and stuff like that, but I particularly like the table play stuff. So yeah, really cool. So thank you for that. And I did say I was just as I was having to charge up the battery or change over the battery in the phone, not the phone, sorry, the camera. I just saw, just announced on Patreon. I think we mentioned Big Head Chibis before, but they've just put out the new, I think it's in this one here, the new brute force member. So the latest brute force member. Here we go, a little bit of a exclusive here. Not really exclusive because it's already up on the Patreon, but this is the last of the actual heroes from Brute Force that we've designed. This is Hip Hop, or Boomer. I think we've called him Boomer on the cards. And alternatively can be a boy or a girl in the comics apparently. But yeah, the kangaroo from Brute Force. So really pleased with that. So really cool to see that. I was super excited. So I thought let's show that off while we can. And the only one left to go now is Saw, and the exciting thing about Saw is that Saw will be a not a hero, what do we call him? A companion. So we have the pet companion. So we've relegated Saw, which is a bit funny. If you know Saw from the comics, he's got a bit of big opinion of himself, so we've relegated him to being a companion, which is pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully Big Head Chibis do model for Saw, and then we'll have the whole team ready to go. But yeah, very super exciting. Really happy to see that. So thanks for that. I guess the only thing we need after that, Big Head Chibis, if you're listening, is the giant Sentinel-sized Voltron, Deadpool Voltron model. So we'll yeah, I'm sure we'll see that soon down the track, or maybe not. But yeah, very cool. So thank you very much, Big Head Chibis. Really appreciate the support you've given the homebrew community and your own community, and listening to what folks want and that sort of thing. And you know, you always come up with great stuff. So very cool to see that too. So yeah, well anyway, thank you very much, guys. That's all from me for this battle. But we'll catch you in the new year, and yeah, happy new year, and Meeple Monkey out. See you guys. Bye bye.